Bant Superfriends, I see. That could be fun, although don't know if we have a ton of Planeswalkers. I guess we can filter on Planeswalkers, see how many we have. So if we were to build a Bant Superfriends deck, we have Gideon, Nissa, Jace, Dovin Baan, Teferi. This Nissa's kind of bad. Huatli's probably not amazing in Bant Superfriends is my guess. Got Ajani and Karn, so that could actually work. Does chat approve of Bant Superfriends or just some sort of Superfriends? Bant does make sense since it gives us the 2 blue-white Planeswalkers. Ajani's pretty powerful. Karn can definitely fit into this deck as well. We already built the Grixis one, so we kind of get to see the flip side. And then Jace, Gideon, and Nissa. 5 color is going to be a bit too difficult on the mana, I think. Especially with only one of each land. This is already pretty taxing, but we'll play some mana fixing. And of course we want the Oath of Teferi. There we go. And then I don't think we want Oath of Ajani, since we're not going to have a ton of creatures to put the +1/+1 counters on. So yeah, this is going to be the core of the deck. Some Planeswalkers and Oath of Teferi. And then we want to try and build around this core with some removal spells, some mana fixing, a ramp, maybe some other card advantage. One card I definitely want and I don't want to forget is Skittering Surveyor. So I'll already add it since it also works well with Oath of Teferi, since we get an additional trigger. So let's get to work. Gonna take a while to go over all the cards, but I think this is the best way to do it so we make sure we don't miss anything. Alright, so if there's... I suppose I should filter on unowned as well in case there's some uncommon cards that I don't have in the collection that I still want to add to the deck. Don't have any rares to add. Maybe there's some mythics I'm missing. So let's see. Do a quick check on the mythics first. Do we want Oketra? Oketra could be okay. Gideon Martial Paragon seems bad. Nissa Genesis Mage seems bad. This one's also bad. The Planeswalker deck Planeswalkers are all pretty weak, so I don't mind skipping those, but Nissa Steward of Elements is probably worth adding, and I don't mind using a Mythic Wildcard on it.
I must heal this land.
And yep, that's about it. Alright, so we got to add 1 Planeswalker to the deck, which is fun. Alright, so this is going to be a controlling, grindy, card advantage-y ramp deck. So those are the cards we're looking for. So it's not going to have a ton of creatures yet again. Legion's Landing could be okay, but we're not going to have creatures to transform it reliably. So I think we'll leave that out. We also want a lot of removal in the form of enchantments for Ajani's +2. So that if we reveal non-land permanents, we still get to get those. So yeah, enchantment removal is going to be pretty key as well. So don't see anything here. Pouncer could be okay, but probably not necessary. Baffling End definitely seems good. Don't think we want Border Weatherlight, even though it does help us find Planeswalkers. Just because we're gonna have like maybe 10 hits on it. So that's not gonna be enough. So we're just gonna go over everything in order here. Compulsory Arrest might be okay. Could also add Gideon's Reproach, even though it's not as good as the enchantment removal with Ajani. Let's see if there's anything here. Could add a Martyr of Dusk just as a repeatable blocker. I'll add it, we'll probably end up cutting it in the end. Nothing here. Seal Away definitely. Do we want to Caught in the Brights? I think we can do better. Like this Desert Hold if we have a few deserts. Could also add a Forsake the Worldly to the main deck, but it's probably not necessary if we have a bunch of cast out effects to get rid of those type of permanents. History seems fine. Also synergizes with Oath of Teferi. We can blink it and reset it. So that's fun. Inspiring Cleric could be okay, just like additional targets for us to blink with Oath of Teferi could be fun, so an Inspiring Cleric could be useful. So I'll add it for now. Legion Conquistador in Singleton, not amazing. Maybe a Luminous Bonds, but also seems kind of mopey. Don't see anything here. Maybe a Sandblast. I guess Skywheeler's Shot is probably better. Maybe add both. Slaughterous Strong could also be useful as a sweeper effect, but don't have it. Don't have the rare wildcard for it. So we'll manage without. Thopter Arrest seems good. Sunscorched Champion seems okay. And then I don't think Anointed Procession does much for us. Baird could be okay, but probably not needed. Cast Out we want. Don't think we want Dusk to Dawn. I think Felidar Guardian is legal here, although I'm not 100% sure. And it would make for a fun combo with some of our cards, but I guess it's not really necessary. So you might be able to go infinite with Saheeli and Felidar Guardian in Singletons, just not going to be very reliable. So Ixalan's Binding is an easy addition. Settle the Wreckage. Maybe a Shalai. I'm not sure yet. Probably end up cutting Shalai, but I'll add it for now. The Shard doesn't do much. I do like the Angels. Cataclysmic doesn't do a ton for us. Don't think we want the Cataclysmic Gearhulk. Don't think we'll have enough life gain for Crested Sunmare, but Fumigate seems good. Lyra seems good. So yeah, we're definitely looking for the 3 mana ramp cards to help us go from 3 mana to 5 mana reliably. Regal Caracal can be okay. Ruinous Blast might actually be pretty nice, but it does require us to have a Planeswalker in play before we can even cast it. So maybe it's a bit too difficult to pull off, and we also don't have it in our collection currently, so we'll manage without. Alright, so I think that's all the white cards we want. Alright, time to move on to blue. And I don't think the deck is going to have much blue in it. It's mostly going to be a splash color. It's mostly going to be green-whites, splash blue for some planeswalkers. But maybe some card draw in blue. So nothing here. Blessed Light could be okay, but it is a bit expensive at 5 mana. Ether Meltdown might be okay as another kind of enchantment removal spell for Ajani. And is still splashable. So Blink of an Eye I'm not going to include since it's double blue. And I don't think we want a ton of counter spells in this build, since we're more of a tap-out controlling deck. We're building a Bant Superfriends Singleton deck right now for those that just joined us. Azcanta might still be okay, since we do have tons of non-creature spells. Nothing here. Champion of Wits might be fine. Also nice target for Oath of Teferi. Definitely have a lot of 5-drops, so we'll have to make some cuts here. Do want a Divination, perhaps. Maybe a Deep Freeze. Another enchantment removal spell. I guess Deep Freeze is slightly better than Wrappings, since this also makes them lose abilities, while this does not. Don't think we're a Kefnet deck. Sailor of Means might be fine, since it also helps us ramp from 3 to 5, so that seems fine. Also a little bit of synergy with Oath of Teferi. So again, we're not going to play any double blue cards. Does Trophy Mage get anything? I guess we could add Trophy Mage. Finds Skittering Surveyor, and maybe we'll add another ramp artifact. So Trophy Mage seems fine. Also synergizes with Oath of Teferi. Water Knot's not going to work with double blue. Again, we're not interested in counter spells. And Glimmer might be fine, but maybe not necessary. Nothing here. Riverwise Augur could be interesting, but I don't think we'll end up with a ton of shuffle effects to really take full advantage of the Brainstorm effect. Yeah, Kumena's Awakening double blue is kind of rough. I don't think that's going to work out for the mana. 3-color decks are already pretty difficult to pull off properly. Don't think we need a Time of Ice. Although Time of Ice kind of works nicely with Planeswalkers in a way. So maybe. And those are all double blue. Don't think we would play the Conjecture even if we had it. Clutches is tempting, since we can find it with Ajani and this 6 mana, so by the time we have 6 mana it's more likely that we have double blue. So I'll add it for now, we'll maybe cut it later. Temporal Sundering would be nice with all our Planeswalkers, but we don't have it, so let's skip past it. Don't think Torrential Gearhulk is going to be great here. Don't have a ton of instants. Rebuke might be okay, but is also double blue. I'll add it for now. Alright, so that's blue taken care of. So now let's look at green. So in green we're mostly looking at mana fixing and ways to ramp. Since, as you can see, the deck's already shaping up nicely. I think Attune with Ether is going to be illegal. Don't think we need it. I think we can find better cards for that kind of job. Yeah, something like a Spring to Mind we'll definitely add when we come across it. Don't see anything here. Llanowar Elves is probably fine, even though we'll probably never cast it on turn 1. I guess we could also make a case for Oashra Cultivator, but again I think we can find better ramp spells. Channeler Initiate might be okay. Druid of the Cowl, Drover of the Mighty. We do have a Fumigate, so have to be careful with how many ramp creatures we play, but can always kind of play around Fumigate ourselves. Alfheim Druid's probably fine. Let's double check here. Don't think Hope Tender's great. Merfolk Branchwalker might be okay. Naga Vitalist might be okay. Yeah, it could be that we end up cutting the Fumigate just because we have too many ramp creatures. Don't see anything here. Servant's probably fine. Don't think we'll have enough creatures for Song of Freyalise to be an effective ramp spell. Thunderherd Migration's essentially a 3-mana rampant growth effect, which I think I'll add it for now, but then could be that it ends up getting cut since we have enough of those effects that are better, like a Spring to Mind or a Grow from the Ashes. Alright, so here we get to our 3-mana spells. Beneath the Sands is a nice one, definitely better than Thunderherd with no dinos. Gift of Paradise could be good. Grow from the Ashes. Don't think we have enough creatures for the Bestiary. Jadelight might be okay, but it is double green. I guess I'll add it for now. Probably gets and ends up getting cut as well. Alright. New Horizons is kind of the worst version of Gift of Paradise in this deck. But could be that we still need it to have a critical mass of 3-mana ramp spells. Don't see anything here. Thrashing Brontodon could be okay. We're almost through the green cards, and then it's just multicolor cards and artifacts that we still need to look at. So again, if I miss anything obvious, can always point it out in the chat. Just looking for ramp spells and mana fixing in general. But by this point we probably went through most of the ramp cards. Spring to Mind is still in the multicolor section, so it's not going to be here yet. Maybe a Ritualist. Ooh, that's a nice art. I don't think we're interested in Ripjaw Raptors and that kind of thing. Wild Wanderer could be okay, also synergizes with the Oath of Teferi. Ooh, Hour of Promise would have been nice. But I guess we already have a ton of 5-drops, so yeah, I guess we're fine without it. Don't think this is a Thundershoot Dryad deck. I guess we could crack some packs to get access to Hour of Promise, but we'll try and build a deck without it first and see if we're really missing it, and maybe I'll crack some packs to try and get a wild card. Carnage Tyrant could also be fine as a curve topper, same with Multani. Alright, so we're almost through it here. Sandworm Convergence is also a card I want. And maybe a Sifter Worm. As some more payoff cards for ramping. Don't think we want the Wildest Dreams. Farm to Market might be fine, better than a Sandblast, I guess. Don't think we want a Wrath, although Wrath is nice with all the Planeswalkers, so maybe it's actually worth it. Cloudblazer seems nice, also with Oath of Teferi. And here we have our green-white cards. Don't see anything we're interested in. Huatli is not gonna really work in this deck, I don't think. Ajani's Aid is from the Planeswalker decks. And then blue-green, we've got our Spring to Mind, or Hoopu. I think Rogue Refiner's legal. Weaver of Currents maybe. Rashmi. Tatyova. So we've got some nice ones here. And then quickly through the artifacts, maybe add some mana rocks. Those aren't mana rocks. Maybe something like a monolith. Does Oath of Teferi blink any permanents? Yep. So it does work with Prophetic Prism, but I think by now we have enough targets. Don't think we'll need the Renegade map for fixing. Compass seems fine. Treasure map seems fine. I guess Cultivator's Caravan is strictly better than a Monolith. So I guess I'll add that instead. Filigree Familiar could also be fine. Probably not necessary. Alright, so we're almost done. And then we just need to make some cuts. So yeah, there's a Monolith. It looks prettier than a Cultivator's Caravan, but yeah, Caravan's probably just better. Even if we're never gonna activate it. Aura's Relic doesn't actually fix mana, so probably don't want it. Already have our Surveyor. Alright, so already have a Karn. Panharmonicon doesn't do anything special for us. I guess we have some creatures with ETB effects, but I don't think we have enough of them to warrant Panharmonicon. Weatherlight would be fun, but probably don't have enough creatures to crew it. Alright. Almost there. Don't think we want a Walking Ballista. Alright, now to add some lands to the deck. Don't want too many tap lands, so I think I'll avoid the Cycling Deserts. Memorial is probably fine. Don't foresee using the activated ability deserts either in this deck. And then we just want to add all the dual lands. And an Ether Hub. And then I don't think we have room for colorless lands. Evolving Wilds is fine. Alright. I think we're through it, so now we just need to make some cuts. Got 99 cards. And we probably want somewhere around 25, 26 lands in this deck. So can still add a few more lands. I guess 25 is enough with all the ramp. So we need to make 40 cuts, which is quite a lot. Jero could be interesting, I suppose. Yeah, I guess if there's a deck where we play Jero, it's probably this one. So sure, let's add Jero. Let's go over the deck real quick. So the first question I want to ask is, do we want to mana creatures and keep the Fumigate? Or do we solely rely on creatureless ramp cards like the enchantments and the sorceries? Since that's immediately gonna change the deck quite a bit. So as you can see, the 3 mana slot is pretty full. So maybe we have to include the creatures just to have somewhat of a curve, which means a card like Fumigate's gonna be less appealing, which is probably fine. So I'll cut the Fumigate. Alright, let's go over it. So Elf is fine, Baffling End's fine, Compulsory Arrest can probably go, Reproach can probably go, don't need a Martyr, Steal Away stays, Meltdown stays, Alskanta seems okay, not amazing. Can probably go without it in this deck, to be honest, since not a ton of our cards are going to go in the graveyard. Then Initiate is not the best 2 mana ramp creature since it expires after a few uses. Drover's also not amazing since it's always going to be a 1/1 in this deck, but it does fix mana, so I guess it's still fine. Druid's fine, Elfheim Druid's fine since we have a few kicker spells, not a ton, I guess just Grow from the Ashes. Branchwalker can maybe go, Vitalist stays. Servant, we have a few energy cards to go with it, but it also only has 2 uses. So how many energy cards do we have? I guess we could also play Attune with Ether. And we have the Rogue Refiner and maybe a Glimmer. So I guess we can play Attune. And then we can also play with the Servant of the Conduit. Thunderherd Migration can probably go. I think we want the Hoopu. Compass seems okay. Treasure Map can maybe go. Desert's Vault can maybe also go since we won't have a ton of deserts. Gideon stays, History stays, Inspiring Cleric can maybe go. Sandblast can maybe go. Skywalker Shot can maybe go. Sunscorched Champion can maybe go. I think I like the Thopter Arrest. Champion of Wits is okay, not amazing. Can probably go as well. Deep Freeze can go. Divination, I'm not sure about yet. Jace is also definitely one of our weaker planeswalkers. But we probably just want a critical mass of planeswalkers, so probably still worth it. Sailor seems good. Trophy Mage seems okay. How many targets do we have? We have Caravan and Surveyor. So still 2 targets is probably enough. Then get to our ramp spells. Beneath the Sands is great. Gift of Paradise is great. Grow from the Ashes is great. Probably don't need Jadelight Ranger. New Horizons is kind of iffy. Probably don't need the Brontodon. Farm to Markets is better than Sandblast. So it can maybe stay. Rogue Refiner seems good. Spring to Mind seems good. Weaver can probably go. Don't ramp a ton in this deck. Kind of just need to get to 5 mana. And then we have maybe a Sandworm Convergence, but a 3 mana 2/2 that dies to a shock seems bad. Those all seem okay. Cast Out seems good. Binding seems good. Settle seems good. Shalai can maybe go, although she does give protection to our planeswalkers as well. And I guess now that we have the mana creatures, it's also a solid win condition. So Shalai is probably still okay. Not sure about the Glimmer. Can probably cut the Glimmer as well, but we'll get back to it. Time of Ice can go. Oasis Ritualist can go, Wanderer can go. Not sure about the Wrath. Rashmi, let's see, whenever you cast the first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library if it's a non-land card with convert mana cost less than that spells. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. So it rewards you for having a few expensive cards. So Rashmi seems okay as a way to gain card advantage. Karn is good. Angel of Invention can probably go. I think I like the Angel of Sanctions. Jeru can stay. Lyra seems good. Regal Caracal can maybe go, since we have a ton of 5-drops, as you can see. I do like me a Cloud Blazer. Tatiova seems good. Clutches can maybe go as well, but it is a nice way to steal a game. Rebuke can maybe go. Carnage Tyrant is okay, not amazing. Can probably go as well. I think I like Multani more, since it has reach. Sifter Worm can probably go. Sandworm stays, and Nissa stays. Alright, so we're already down to 74, which is more manageable. So, still need to make a few cuts here. So, I guess a tune kind of counts as a land, so we can maybe cut a land for it. Alright, so back into it. Let's be a bit harsher this time. Ether Meltdown can go. One of these mana ramp creatures has to go as well. I think the Drover, just because it's pretty vulnerable to 1 damage effects. And then maybe the Alfheim Druid as well. And keep these for now. Hoopu seems nice as a late game mana sink. Compass seems good if we're ramping, but doesn't necessarily synergize with mana ramp creatures or the enchantments. So maybe it's not necessary, but it does do a good job of kind of protecting our planeswalkers from large creatures. History seems good at protecting our planeswalkers as well, but maybe it can go. Divination can maybe go, since the 3-drops are pretty stacked. And we're trying to get card advantage through our planeswalker, so we don't necessarily need card draw spells. I guess we can cut the Caravan, and then we also cut the Trophy Mage. And then don't need the Glimmer. Wrath can maybe go as well, but it does seem sweet with our planeswalkers, I've got to say. Although I guess if we're flashing in our planeswalkers, we're not activating them, which is kind of not what we want to do, and we don't have a ton of other instants in the deck, so I can cut the Wrath. Alright, so 4 more cuts. Let's take a quick look at our curve. So Llanowar Elves and Attune are the only 1-drops. Yeah, we don't have Karn's Temporal Sundering, otherwise I probably would play it. So, some 2-mana ramp creatures. Some removal spells. Some more ramp, some planeswalkers. Some more removal. Some value creatures. Some more removal, some planeswalkers. I guess Shalai can maybe go. And then one of these 5-drops maybe. And then I could see Imbolas's Clutches also going. Alright, so let's cut the Clutches. Let's cut Shalai. Maybe Multani can go. Alright, so 1 more cut. I could also cut the Jace, that's the other option. Since Jace is kind of weak and not very synergistic in our deck, besides being a planeswalker. So sure, let's cut the Jace instead. Let's see, now we have to take a look at our mana base. So Definitely need lots of early green and white. We're just splashing the blue. So don't need a ton of blue. I would say with all the green mana fixing as well, probably around 11 blue sources is enough. And then we want around 17 green and around 14 white with the green mana fixing. Green is definitely the priority since that gives us access to the other colors. And this time I'll make sure to add full art lands. Alright, so let's count a green real quick. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So definitely need more green. So that's 14, 15, 16, plus an attune, but we kind of need green before we can cast the attune. Then don't need a ton of blue, maybe can cut the memorial. So as far as blue goes, let's see, if we go down to 1, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Would like 1 or 2 more, but again we have all the mana fixing as well, if you count attune, if you count cards like Servants, and then all the 3 mana ramp spells. So I guess it's fine. It does make Sailor of Means a bit worse if we can't cast it on 3. That's the only drawback. And let's count the white real quick. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, no 10, 11, 12. It's also a bit on the low side if we're trying to cast double white spells. So maybe I cut a green for it. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 white, 12, 13. It's probably enough. And then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 green. It's gonna be a little bit sketchy, but yeah, the format is slower than normal standard, so you don't get punished as much for slow starts. So I think this is fine. Benefaction of Ronas, also consideration, but I think I like the main deck for now. So let's add some full art lands to round out the deck. Alright, took us a while, but we finally got there. And now it's time to enjoy the fruits of our labor. Hopefully, might just get crushed. Alright, and then what's gonna be the picture? I guess Oath of Teferi is kind of symbolic of the deck. Alright, let's jump into quick Singleton. And hopefully we can select our deck. There we go. Alright, nice. Let's get started. Alright, so we've got all the mana we need, some ramp cards and a Sandworm Convergence, so seems fine to me. So probably gonna go tapped Expanse on 1, turn 2 we can go Druid of the Cowl, turn 3 we can go Grow from the Ashes plus tapped Meandering River. Could have also gone Ether Hub into Llanowar Elves here, but I don't think that's worth it. And we'll hang on to the Hinterland Harbor until we can find a forest or an island. Alright, some sort of token stack. Basic Plains is decent here. So we could wait until we can kick the Grow from the Ashes, I suppose. And this turn just go Llanowar Elves plus Meandering River. That might be fine. And the next turn we'll just kick the Grow from the Ashes. so yeah, I think we just want to kick this Grow from the Ashes, and then the question is, do we play the Harbor here or do we play the Plains? I guess we can just play the Harbor. Actually, let's play the Plains, that way we get to keep the Druid on defense. So let's kick this. Alright, so we want a forest, and probably doesn't matter too much. Guess we'll get our island. And we could even play the Gift of Paradise, but I'd rather keep the Druid of the Cowl on defense, just in case. So it looks like a green-white tokens deck, but the Sandworm Convergence, if they don't have an Ixalan's Binding or Cast Out, should be pretty decent. Alright. I'll give him a land. So yeah, they can't activate Pride Sovereign this turn, and it's gonna... the Druid of the Cowl can actually block their 2/2s. It's weird that they didn't attack, I guess they want to protect Karn, so that makes sense. Alright, time to play a Sandworm Convergence and hope it sticks in play. And we could, let's see, 3... No, we can't play the Gift first. So this seems fine. Seal Away doesn't deal with Shanna, but can deal with the Pride Sovereign once it's activated. So the real hope is that they don't answer the Sandworm Convergence here, since if the Sandworm sticks, then we're in a good spot. And now we're just hoping to draw some of our more expensive payoff cards and Planeswalkers. Alright, opponent gonna go aggressive here. Rogue Refiner, a nice draw. Ooh, rush me. So I think the plan here is to attack with a token, and if our opponent blocks with Shanna, then we get to exile the Pride Sovereign. Opponent's probably gonna see through it, but they might also just jump with the token. Yep. And that's fine. So now we can go Rash Me. And we don't have to seal away in our turn, we can just wait. I guess there's the Ankrop Champion, which could untap their creature, so I guess we will use the seal away before they untap, or before the champion gets to attack. Okay, opponent's also got a nice one here. And yeah, don't have a ton of ways to pressure the Ajani. Since we don't have any flyers, they're gonna exile Rashmi. Let's try and get some value out of the seal away.
Now do you see the benefits of peace?
Man, Ajani sounds old. Yeah, our opponent's got more Planeswalkers in play than we do. That's not according to plan. Alright, they say go. Alright, so we're kind of out of things to do. We can use Cast Out on one of the opponent's things. Probably just want to exile Ajani. So let's play the Gift. Definitely should have attacked before playing out our hand here, but our opponent's likely just gonna jump anyways. Right, they're actually going for a trade there. That's fine. Still gonna just get rid of the Ajani here, I think. And hope they don't find an answer to the Sandworm Convergence.
Evil cannot withstand a righteous heart.
Opponent misclicked. Ooh, on Sarah's Wings, but yeah, the Shanna can't attack, but it does play defense pretty well. But I think I'm fine if the opponent just sits there with their Shanna. Alright, the shame scoop works for me. Yeah, I think they didn't read Sandworm Convergence entirely. Alright, so that's another quest completed. Yeah, it could be that they thought that creatures without flying couldn't attack. Playing against Unmoist Whale, that's a pretty special name. So how about this hand? We get to cycle Beneath the Sands if we don't find green mana. And then go Thopter Arrest into Karn, maybe. On the draw, I think we can keep this. Oof, we did not get there on the lands. So probably have to cycle the Beneath the Sands now. Alright, opponent's got a Knight deck, it looks like. There's not a ton of Knights, so we've got that going for us. But we are under quite a bit of pressure already. Oof, alright, nice. So we could gift here and then just try and play some 5-drops if we draw land next turn. That seems like a fine plan. So we've got a million 5-drops here. Oof, that's a good one too. On the bright side, if we draw land here, that's close enough, I guess. We'll scare our opponent here a little bit. Get an island. Should have kept the plains on tap to represent Seal Away, but... Alright, so we're gonna take a beating here. Oof, wow. That's quite the curve out. Think we have to chomp. Man, I wish I had Fumigate in the deck now. Alright, so we can just play Lyra and hope they don't have removal for it. Or we can play Angel of Sanctions first to kind of stem the bleeding. If they then remove the Angel, then at least they're not attacking us with the Banalish Marshal as well. But I guess then we're still dead. So yeah, if Angel dying still puts us dead on board, then we might as well play Lyra. The Teferi minus doesn't do enough. So yeah, I think it's just a Lyra and Prey. Yep, they had the Thopter Arrest. So that's game. Angel of Sanctions would have still gotten us killed since they could exert the Glory-bound Initiate. Alright, so we kind of got curved out on and missed a land drop here or there. So that can happen. Alright. Don't think we want to keep a one-lander on the play. Alright, I guess I'll keep this. Don't need another forest. So turn 2 Compass, turn 3 Activate for a Plains. Into Cast Out into Karn. And I think we still want to just activate the Compass over playing the Tranquil Expanse. Alright, opponent does nothing, that's good. So do we get a Plains now or an Island? I think we still get a Plains in case we need to cast out. Alright, so here we can just run out a Karn, get a bit of Karn advantage. Seems okay.
Until you have lived as a statue, do not humans regret that choice.
I'm fine with either. Gives us the untapped one. So next turn we can play a tap land and keep up Cast Out and Thaumatic Compass activation. There's only a handful of removal spells for Planeswalkers in black and white. There's Cast Out, Ixalan's Binding, Never to Return, Vraska's Contempt. Those come to mind. I'm sure there's a couple more, but... Alright, another Night deck. Ooh, Oath of Teferi. Think we keep plussing. Probably gives us the attune. Alright, so we could attune for Island, play Dovin Baan. And then next turn play the Oath of Teferi. That seems pretty good.
How you stand up to scrutiny. Such weakness is amusing.
So they can only attack one of our Planeswalkers here. Hopefully they can't remove one. Ah, Liliana's not bad.
Good news. I've arrived. Death is ever present.
Still seems like we should just play Oath and then can use Dovin Baan twice to shrink down creatures and then use Karn twice as well. But I guess we can use Karn first, get back a Nissa. Play Oath. I guess we can bounce... I guess, never mind, don't really want to bounce anything here. I guess a Compass. And then we get to plus on the Night.
You can't possibly be this stupid.
Plus on the Night.
You're only making it worse.
And then we'll plus Karn. And get a land that will play. Alright. So we're not in a bad spot. Next turn we can play Nissa Activator twice. And at some point we can cast out Liliana as well. Thopter Arrest gets rid of the Compass. Alright, so that's not going to transform next turn. But that's okay.
I prefer friends in low places.
Yep, we can ultimate Nissa in one turn if we want to. Not sure if we do want to do that yet, but maybe. Dovin Baan down to 2. So we've got 6, potentially 7 mana to work with. I guess more with Nissa untap. So let's see, 6. So yeah, I think what we want to do is play Nissa, untap a land, and then we can use that land to still also play the Surveyor, and then I'll probably ultimate Nissa right away, just to get that card advantage going. So what would we exile with Karn? Just a Hoopu. Hoopu's not bad, actually. So let's plus Karn first.
A curious choice.
Get a land. And then I'll minus Karn to get the Hoopu.
Your patience is rewarded.
Play Nissa. Untap a land. And then we'll ultimate. And then we'll play a land. And play Skittering Surveyor. Or we could just play the Hoopu, I guess, but now I messed up by tapping the wrong land, so I'll play this, and then we'll use our Dovin Baan a bunch.
I almost feel sorry for you.
I guess I should maybe plus on... No, I'll plus on the Knights. Alright, so...
Options are decreasing.
Plenty of card advantage going. So yeah, maybe I should have just kept the island untapped and then played the Hoopu on defense. As it turns out, the Fairgrounds Warden would have exiled it. So now our opponent gets to kill Dovin Baan. Oh wow, I didn't see the Angel of Invention. That got milled over. That's a pretty good use of Liliana. So now definitely regretting not having Fumigate in the deck. But we'd still have Settle the Wreckage as a sweeper.
Won't fix your flaws.
So Rush Me is interesting. I think we just want to double use our 4 mana exile effects though. So I'll plus Karn. Those are two pretty good ones too. Yeah, we could go Rashmi, Baffling End plus Hoopu. Or just go Rashmi plus cast out your Angel. I think we want to get Lyra anyways.
Nothing is ever truly lost.
Could also go Lyra plus Baffling End. That might be okay. Alright, the plot thickens. So let's go Lyra. I guess we only have 2 white sources. I messed up, I should have played the plains there. Alright, so change of plans. Let's play Ixalan's Binding. And let's not tap both our white sources. Let's Binding on Liliana. And then cast out the Angel. And then discard a land. Alright, so Karn's gonna die, but we still have a ton of card advantage going in our favor. So still don't mind our position. Definitely need to play this plains next turn. Victory's Herald, wow. Flying and lifelink.
I will be better prepared next time.
Play plains, draw a card. Alright, so probably just want to play Lyra. And then can go Hoopu, or I guess we can go rush me into Lyra. Or we can go Lyra plus one of the white removal spells plus Hoopu. I think I want to play rush me into Lyra. Kind of to present two creatures that they need to answer. Baffling End doesn't do anything, so that's an oops from our opponent. And Karn, alright. So far so good.
I am Karn. Are you certain of your decision?
And I'll give him a bodyguard, I guess. Alright, so I think we stabilized. And now the card advantage should just be pretty crushing. Okay. So they made the Angel indestructible, but we get a free block. And then we take 12. I guess they're trying to kill us in 2 turns, but we have the seal away for the Angel next turn, so this seems fine. Hey, thanks for the 100 bits, Brandon. Appreciate the support. Yep, a long time no see indeed. Okay, that's a nice Settle the Wreckage. And let's play some more creatures. And keep up Settle. Thanks for the Twitch Prime subscription, Ninja, appreciate it, and welcome to the Loyal Legion. Let's send Lyra at Karn and kind of bait the attack. But our opponent doesn't even have great attacks, so maybe it wasn't even worth it to keep up Settle this turn. Alright, opponent's gonna clean up the board themselves. Sure, did not take Fumigate into account, so maybe shouldn't have played the Hoopu there. Oh well. And a Kambal.
You may regret that choice.
Alright, those are 2 pretty good ones. I guess they can have Gideon. Alright, we're in a bit of trouble now all of a sudden. So we need to draw some Planeswalkers. Rogue Refiner. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we're no longer in trouble. And now we get to play Teferi. And we get to plus and minus.
No time for a break.
And play an elf. Alright, so we're back on track. Do still have 22 cards left in library, so I don't think decking is going to be a concern. And there's always a Teferi loop to prevent decking. And the land on Nissa is a May ability, so don't have to draw cards with it.
This is a plane worth saving.
Gideon pluses on Rogue Refiner.
Whatever you've got.
Let's play a land, draw a card. Ooh, hello. Should have activated Teferi first, I guess. And I think we plus again.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
So now we can play Tatyova, play Spring, draw card. Draw 2 cards rather. And find our own Gideon. So let's attack their Gideon with our Llanowar Elves. And then play our own Gideon. Could have tapped Batter there, but didn't want to waste too much time.
Your weapons won't help you win.
Plus on their Gideon. And we can also make an emblem with Gideon, so we won't lose to decking.
Save yourself and give up now.
Alright, so don't mind our spot here. Untap 4 lands. And our opponent scoops it up. Alright, so that game was pretty intense, but I enjoyed it. The Oath of Teferi definitely carried us. Yeah, maybe the deck can use a Fumigate, but it does kind of go poorly if we have a bunch of mana creatures in play. But maybe still necessary. Between the Gideon emblem and Teferi minusing itself, I don't think we could deck there. This hand seems fine. Turn 1 Scattergroves, turn 2 Servants. It's gonna be a pretty early Teferi coming down. Yeah, Tatyova isn't a May ability though, that's true, but we can just stop playing lands if we want. In that spot. I'm betting this Servant is gonna die. But then we still have the Sailor for next turn. A mono black deck, that's the first one we've seen so far. Alright, so here we can attune for a land, but we can also do that next turn. So here I kind of like playing the Sailor of Means or the Surveyor. And Sailor of Means, if we draw untapped land, lets us play a 5-drop next turn, which seems pretty powerful. Alright, Tatsamok is fine. Don't really care. Alright, no untapped land. So let's attune for an island. Play island, play Surveyor. And get a Plains. And attack for 1. Alright, so next turn we drop a Teferi. And hope they don't have Contempt or Never to Return. Divests. Alright, it's gonna take our Cloudblazer. Hopefully they don't follow it up with a Duress. But I guess the mono black deck Singleton is not gonna have a ton of options. So they might have Duress in the main. Alright, Sailor of Means got 2 counters. Let's get in there.
We'll thank you later. Hurry!
And we could even cycle this farmland if we want to. Ooh, Nissa was a nice one. So we'll see what we do next turn. Ajani. Alright, got the seal away, so don't think that'll be attacking anytime soon. Hey, thanks for the 2-month resubscription seal, appreciate it. And welcome back to the Loyal Legion. It's plus first.
We need to move quickly.
You came right on time, we just cast the seal away. Alright, so we can play Nissa, plus... Looks like we've got a nice little train going. Thanks for the Twitch Prime subscription. Parent Face, appreciate the support, and welcome to the Loyal Legion to you as well. The ranks are growing. We can Nissa here, plus, and hit them for quite a bit. And I think that's fine, and then we'll play the tapped farmland as well. Could also go forest and play the compass, but it's not going to flip yet this turn, so no reason to. And I would rather deal them 5 than use Nissa to untap a land. And opponent scoops it up. Alright, Bant Superfriends, too strong. Alright, so we're 3-1. Alright, let's have a look here. This hand looks pretty great. Turn 2 Druid, turn 3 Surveyor, turn 4 Teferi. Could even drop a turn 3 Nissa. Just gonna sack it now so we don't forget. Uh-oh, turn 1 Mountain. And we've got the Oath of Teferi, nice. So we might be doing it. Alright, turn 2 Scrap Heap. That's not what we wanted to see. But a Rashmi is pretty spicy as well. So if we play Rashmi and we find an untapped land, that's a pretty big game. And even if we don't, we can still play Nissa on 2. So I don't mind this. And if they use removal on Rashmi, then they're not using it on the Druid, which we kind of need right now. Howling Golem. That's fine. So I'll take 3. And a Thopter Arrest is not bad. So a few options. I think I just like playing the Surveyor here. If their best play was a Howling Golem, that's not too scary. So then we can just play a Skittering Surveyor. Get a card from Rashmi as well. Ooh, a tune, not bad. Get to cast it for free. And get a Plains. And Surveyor finds another forest. And we'll say go. Alright. So we've got Thopter Arrest for the Scrounger, and then we can start... I mean, we can just drop a Planeswalker first anyways, since we have a ton of chump blockers now. Ether Torch, a Renegade. Can ping down 1 toughness creatures. Let's block like this. And a Baffling End, wow. Okay, so we've got a wealth of options here between the 5 drops, the Arrest and the Baffling End. It's definitely tempting to just drop the Teferi, but it would be better to remove the Scrap Heap first to better protect Teferi. It's also tempting to play the Oath when we already have a Planeswalker in play, so we could just use this turn to use some removal spells, but I kind of only want to remove the Scrounger, the other 2 don't really bother me too much. So that would be kind of a waste unless we play Nissa, so I guess that's a play. Play Nissa on 2. and then we can still play the Baffling End. And I think I want to play Nissa first, given the Rush Me in play. So yeah, that makes sense to me. Let's see. I want to make sure it keeps white mana untapped. Oof, it did not. That's rough. Oh game. The auto-tap function still doesn't work very well. So yeah, it should have kept up white mana so we could have cast the Baffling End there. And it didn't. So let us scry 2.
Perhaps I should try this.
Those are both pretty good. Don't think we need Jerut though, but I'll keep Ajani. Alright, so the scrap heap should have been gone here. Gifted Aetherborn's fine. So don't mind blocking here and trading. Opponent can shoot down the Druid with the Ether Torch Renegade, but I don't really need the extra mana. Alright, so we've got a ton of options now. Glacial Fortress untapped, and then we can play both Gideon and something like a Thopter Arrest. I think I want to play Gideon before I play the Oath, just to have more Planeswalkers in play that we can double activate. So if we're going to play Gideon plus a Thopter Arrest, then I want to... then it doesn't matter which we play first with the Rush Me in play. I guess we can scry first to set up our Rush Me trigger.
The world has shown me the way.
So don't want either of these. Hey, thanks for the Twitch Prime subscription, IntelliBeam. Appreciate the support, and welcome to the Loyal Legion. Alright, let's play Gideon. Get a land. And I guess I Thopter Arrest the Gifted Aetherborn. Maybe we actually get rid of the Howling Golem. Since I don't want my opponent drawing extra cards, I want to be the only one drawing the extra cards. Let's plus on the Aetherborn.
I don't think so.
And that should do it. Alright, so we're definitely in a great spot here. Tons of cards still in hand. The Settle could have been useful later, that's true, but I think we're gonna have enough removal between the Baffling End and the Ajani that we don't need it. Hijack, okay. Hopefully they can't take out one of our Planeswalkers here, since I'd really like to untap with 2 Planeswalkers and play Oath of Ajani, or Oath of Teferi rather. Definitely willing to throw the Skittering Surveyor under the bus. Alright, so this kind of indicates that they maybe want to Lightning Strike Nissa. So I think I'm fine jumping. And yeah, sure, we don't have a target now for Oath of Teferi, but we'll get plenty of value already out of it. Ooh, hello. Okay, so how do we start? Start by scrying with Nissa to set up Rush Me.
Perhaps I should try this.
And yep, Karn's a good one. Don't mind the Hoopu either. And now we can play Oath of Teferi. And get a free Karn. Oh wow, this is just gross. And we'll blink nothing. Guess a land. Then we'll play a land. Can Baffling End Renegade, which will get exiled, so the Demonic Vigor doesn't do anything. And then we can activate our planeswalkers an obscene amounts of times. So we'll make an emblem. We'll plus with Gideon. Could also go on the beatdown plan, but we're not in a hurry. And then we could also -6, but let's just keep scrying.
My next move is clear.
And those are both good, so it means that the Karn Plus is going to be effective. This is just gross. Get the Hoopu. I think I'll also get the Cloud Blazer. Alright. That's enough. And next turn we can either go to Teferi or Ajani. Super Friends are assembling. Man, so many options now. Where to start? So I think we start by... maybe we want to just kill our opponent with the -6. But I think I want to wait one more turn. Let's have an extra turn of drawing cards and scrying. So Lyra's a good one. So now we get to play Ajani. And get a free Lyra, thanks to Rashmi. Alright, there we go. And as everyone knows, free Lyra is best Lyra.
I do not stand alone.
And let's plus. Sure. Take 2 of those. Which planeswalker can I still activate? Let's get rid of this.
Now do you see the benefits of peace?
And let's make a bunch of tokens here.
Oh, say hello to my little friend. There is great power.
I guess we can still minus Nissa. So turn this into a creature.
I've been waiting for this.
Minus Nissa.
The land must fight for itself.
And attack for a bunch. And play. I guess I'll hold on to the Hoopu. Don't need to overextend. Still get to use Gideon one more time. Let's plus on this mountain. This mountain looks scary.
You hold no power over me.
Alright, so I think that'll do it. Demon of Dark Schemes. Alright, punishing us for minusing Karn. That's fine. And now our opponent concedes. Alright. So we got the most amount of planeswalkers in play so far at 4. And we still had Teferi in hand, so that was a nice one. Yep, it's Oath of Teferi letting us use our planeswalkers twice a turn. And we got a nice commemorative Cloud Blazer. Nice. Alright, so we're up to 4-1 with Bant Superfriends. Alright, this hand looks okay. We've got our Oath. We've got some ramp, some card advantage. Turn 2 freebooter. It's probably gonna take our Grow from the Ashes. Alright, they do go for the Grow from the Ashes. Alright, so no ramp for us. Never mind, just kidding. I'll play the Hoopu just to block. So next turn we get to Beneath the Sands, into Angel of Sanctions. So we want to grab a Plains. Painful lesson, sure. Alright, found a plains anyways. Don't need to show them that we have one. Don't have a second island anyways in the deck. So let's get a plains. And say go. Alright, so if the Hoopu survives, we can start activating that as well as a sort of source of card advantage. So I don't think I'll be playing the Angel on 5, but maybe. If they kill the Hoopu, then I guess don't have a ton of options. Ballista on 2. That makes for a nice Angel of Sanctions target, since I don't want shooting down my precious Hoopu. And the next turn we can go Tatyova into land, which is pretty strong. And Angel of Sanctions on Walking Ballista is a nice play, since they won't get the Walking Ballista back, since it'll die right away. So they can shoot us for 2 in the face. So maybe not the best play from the opponent, knowing we had the Angel of Sanctions in hand. Unless they were baiting us into using the Angel and have something more precious to protect, which could definitely be the case. But Oath of Teferi can also blink an Angel, so opponent cycling a Desert on turn 5 is not where they want to be. And a Bontus Monument. Alright, so let the value train commence. I think we lead with Tatyova into land. But I guess we can attack first. Alright, not bad, not bad. The only drawback is that everything we have costs 5. Hoopu costs 5 and all the cards in hand are 5 drops. But on the other hand, opponent's kind of between a rock and a hard place. So Jer is also going to deliver a Planeswalker to go with Oath of Teferi. And we can even blink Jero with Oath to get an additional Planeswalker, so good things are coming for us. Alright, walk the plank on the Hoopu. So now I'm not gonna feel bad about not activating it. Alright, so where to start? Probably just gonna play the Jero here. And get a Planeswalker. Could also go Compass, activate, play a land, draw a card with Tatyova. That's another option, which is also tempting. I think I want to set up Jero. Alright, so which Planeswalker do we get here? Few options. I guess since we have 6 mana, we might as well get Ajani. So yeah, next turn we have the option of Ajani or Oath. Godfarer's Gift. So they can get back a 4/4 Walking Ballista. That's okay. Yeah, maybe you should have gotten Teferi just to answer something random like a Godfarer's Gift there. But it's not like they have much fuel. So they probably don't want to attack us with a freebooter, since they kind of want to jump with it to have extra fuel for the gift. And I'll take 4, I think. Or 5. Alright, land is nice. So where to begin? So we have 7 lands now, so this transforms. So I kind of like Compass plus Oath of Teferi or Compass plus Lyra. Just to transform this. Seems fine. And then we can attack for 10. I guess our opponent's just dead on board. So, that's unfortunate. I kind of wanted to keep playing. Yeah, well, I guess I won't waste too much time. Yeah, you usually don't expect your opponents to put themselves dead on board. But I guess they were dead regardless. Alright, so a bit anticlimactic there, but you can see how the deck was gonna go off. So 5 and 1. Let's move on to the next one. This hand's a little bit sketchy since we only have single green with the Surveyor, but I'm sure we'll get there. Got more green sources than anything else. Alright, let's keep playing tap lands. Yeah, there's green mana. Alright, so here, probably fine to just play the gift and an untapped forest to cast the gift. And I guess we can enchant the island here. This harvester is annoying since it's gonna pressure our Nissa, but we can drop a Sandward Convergence at some point to be able to ignore the flying creatures. And then I'm not sure if we want to cycle this or keep it. Kind of tempted to keep it, since we kind of want a lot of lands for the Convergence. Shall I? Okay, it's pretty good. Can't kill it with the Baffling End. But it is yet another flyer that gets shut down by Convergence. But maybe I still cycle this just to find some more ramp or some interaction for Shall I. Rashmi's not bad. So yeah, next turn we could just play the Nissa to trigger the Rashmi, so I think we play Rashmi first. If Nissa were to survive, we could also use her to ramp by 1 by untapping the land. But it's pretty likely that the Nissa dies here if we play her to the flyers. So I think we want to play Rashmi first. So we're at 6 mana, so 2 away from the Convergence. Oof, okay. At least I'm glad they're using Cast Out on the Rashmi instead of on the Convergence. So we've got that going for us. Nothing to get back with Nissa currently. Alright, Compass was a nice one. Can prevent Shall I from dealing damage. So we can actually go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can't yet flip the Compass, so I think what we do, since I'm not willing to run out Nissa into the flyers without a flipped Compass, I think we just want to activate the Compass right now. Or I guess we can wait until end of turn. And then that'll give us a land for the Convergence next turn. I think that makes sense. Alright. So here's hoping they don't have an Ixalan's Binding in hand for the convergence. Traxos. Alright, that's a big scary boy. Alright, so Harvester gets in for 3. And they're gonna use the lifelink mode. Surprised they didn't do it last turn when we were completely tapped out, but with Shalai they rightfully feel pretty safe. Alright, let's get another plains, I suppose, or maybe a forest. Alright, Oath can also do some stuff. But I'm just gonna play Convergence. And then we need to find an answer to Shalai, essentially. Yeah, but the thing is I want to actually get rid of the Shalai so we can use the Spires of Vraska on Traxos. But I guess in a turn or two, if the Convergence is still in play, the Worms will be able to block Traxos anyways. Eldest Reborn, that's fine. It's gonna untap the Traxos though. Alright, so what do we do here? So I can just discard the Baffling End to the Eldest Reborn if I want to. It's kind of risky to run out Nissa while the Eldest Reborn is in place, since if your opponent somehow manages to kill Nissa, then they get it back. So I don't think we want to do that yet. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We could play both, but ultimating Nissa again with the Eldest Reborn in play seems pretty sketchy. So do we just want to play Oath and call it a day? Yeah, I guess just Oath is fine. And maybe blink the Gift of Paradise, just to gain 3 life. And I'll discard the Baffling End to the Eldest Reborn. Maybe should have just kept the land and discarded that instead. And I'll keep the Worm on defense to try and block Traxos should they be able to remove 1 Worm. Oof. Talk about blowouts. I guess we get a Rashmi back. And their opponent's Eldest Reborn is gone, but we do take 7. Alright, so what's the plan now? Play Nissa, I guess. Hope to get something good here. It's not the best.
Behold, nature's true power.
I think we do just ultimate Nissa here. There's nothing to get back that I want. And we have a land we can play.
The land bestows opportunity for those who are worthy.
Alright, so we could attack with a 5/5, pressure our opponent. But if they can untap Traxos, I want it back on defense, so I'll just say go. And now we're in this weird board state where lots of things suddenly disappeared and changed the texture of the game. And Blessed Light on Rashmi, alright. So Traxos won't be untapping, but Angel of Sanctions is a big draw here. Alright, so now I feel pretty good. We are still at 3, so that's the sketchy part. But now we can use our Spires on Traxos. And as we keep chaining lands, we keep drawing cards with Nissa's Emblem. So we should be able to draw out of this. And a main phase Arch of Vraska activation, don't mind seeing that. Hello. Can we almost kill our opponent here? So we want to definitely keep up the Spires of Vraska. So I'm gonna manually tap just to prevent any shenanigans. So Nissa for 8. And then we can ultimate.
Draw the poison from this dying world. A dying world has great strength.
And then we can plus.
Let us begin.
Karn seems good. And yeah, get in there. Opponent's at 2. And we're drawing a Karn next turn, which we can activate twice with Oath of Teferi in play. Plus a land that also draws us a card with the Nissa Vital Force emblem. Alright, another main phase Arch of Vraska activation out of desperation. And opponent says go. Oof, that was a close one. And Oath of Teferi once again being pretty good there. Alright, so up to 6 and 1, so 2 losses to give. Or well, 1 loss to give, I guess, for the last one. And this hand is definitely a keep. So turn 2 Vitalist, turn 3 Gift, turn 4 Cloudblazer. It's a nice curve. Maybe should have played the Druid of the Cowl instead, since there's more -2/-2 effects that can kill the Vitalist, but not the Druid. Alright, didn't matter anyways. Alright, opponent on blue-black control. So this might be a challenge, since counter spells are pretty good against 5 mana sorcery speed spells. Blink of an eye on our gift, that's aggressive. Opponent now tapped out. Alright, works for me, so here we get to gift plus Druid of the Cowl. And don't want to enchant our non-basic lands because of Field of Ruin. So always want to try and enchant basic lands with your Gift of Paradise. Alright, so we've got the mana going. Now we just have to hope our opponent doesn't have counter spells for the payoff cards. That's fine. I think I might grow from the ashes before playing the Cloudblazer just to try and get a counterspell out of their hand. So 3, 4, 5. That's fine. Alright, so far so good. Managed to trade their counterspells for cards we didn't really care about. Gifted Aetherborn is fine. And there's a Nissa, so I think I want to keep Thopter Arrest for maybe a Scarab God. And I think Nissa's better than Cloudblazer, although it's close. So let's play Cloudblazer first. Alright. So don't mind our spot. There's a Field of Ruin. And a Never. Sure, they can also cast a return part, make it 2/2. Alright, so I think it's time for Nissa. Get back Cloudblazer. So I think what we actually want to do is Sailor of Means into Nissa, get back Cloudblazer. I guess this is kind of weak to removal spell on Sailor of Means. Yeah, maybe we just wait one more turn to set up Nissa a little bit better. So let's just cast a Spring. Get an island. And then play a farmland, could cycle it. But I think we can probably use the extra mana with the Mind in the graveyard. Alright, so I guess now our opponent gets to exile it. Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. But if they exile the Mind, they're not exiling Cloudblazer, and we can get back Cloudblazer with Nissa. So either way works for me. Yeah, didn't think about the return exiling the Mind part there, so maybe could have waited until we could have cast both in the same turn. Either way I think we'll be fine. So Nissa. And I think I like minus on Cloudblazer just to get immediate value. But I might actually play the Thopter Arrest on the Aetherborn just so they can't pressure Nissa. It's also a close one. I don't mind jumping with the Sailor of Means, and if they use removal on Cloudblazer, that's fine. So maybe hanging on to the Thopter Arrest in case of a Scarab God is fine. Sure. Alright, Jeru's a nice one. So even if they deal with Nissa, we'll have another Planeswalker incoming. Definitely jumping. Alright. Ooh, River Hoopu. So we've got a ton of things going for us now. Let's play Jeru. And let's see, do we get the Teferi? Do we get Ajani? I think those are the considerations. Gideon could also plus on the Aetherborn, but let's go with Ajani. And then we could, let's see. Yeah, let's just slam this Ajani. I guess we can untap first in case of a Censor. And we can also untap this land, but then if this gets destroyed, that would be kind of awkward. Could untap this and then play Hoopu and activate Hoopu. That's also an option. But I'm gonna play it safe. Just untap that one. Then play Ajani. And then we can attack for 5.
Honor and courage.
And we've got plenty of hits for Ajani to find. Yep, that works. Alright, let's get in for 5. And should be able to take over pretty easily from here. So yeah, this Bant Superfriends deck has been a ton of fun. Gonti, alright. Yeah, Ajani tends to find his friends. Although I'm not sure if Ajani and Dovin Baan would get along. If Nerdad lands on Jeru. And Etherborn goes after Ajani, but is only going to take one, thanks to Jeru being in play. And there's Gideon. Alright, so I've got almost our entire crew gathered.
Virtue will always triumph. I can read your flaws like an open book.
Wow. Okay. Man, let's untap a land here so we can play Oath. And that should be game. Oh, this is filthy. Blink Jeru. Get another Planeswalker. Oh yes.
This should help.
This is a thing of beauty.
Impudent. You hold no power over me. Your defeat is inevitable.
Oh, and next turn we get to ultimate Ajani too. Alright, a miss on Ajani, but I can live with that. And let's plus again. What happens if we plus here? Then I guess it's just a 5/5. Plus here. Alright. So next turn, Ajani ultimate incoming. And by the way, Jeru comes back and gets the ferry. Hoo. Please don't concede, opponent. Let us have one more turn. Alright, fair enough. Let's see if our opponent has a Planeswalker. They do, Liliana. Alright, I actually don't mind this since now they're less likely to concede. Alright, so where do we start? I guess we start by playing 2 Planeswalkers.
If you show remorse, I'll show restraint.
Uh-oh. I lost my Planeswalkers. Oh no. This doesn't look as pretty as I would have hoped. Alright, let's plus first. Alright, miss, whatever. Then we minus Ajani.
My strength is your strength.
And then we can ultimate Teferi.
I don't do this lightly.
And then we can plus him.
Hold that thought.
Alright, who's next? Let's exile Gonti. And alright. Our opponent at least let us ultimate Ajani. So we were gonna ultimate pretty much every Planeswalker in play there. Oof, that was pretty awesome. I'm glad we were able to get to this point with Oath of Teferi and 6 Planeswalkers in play. Blinking Jeru, that's kind of the dream. So yeah, that was another successful Singleton event. Did take us a while to build a deck, but I think it was definitely worth it. So let's claim our prizes. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. A Bond to the Glorified. And a Trapjaw Tyrant. Alright, sweet. I also want to thank all my patrons for supporting the channel, and you can do so yourself as well over at patreon.com/LegenVD, where you get cool rewards for supporting the channel, as well as getting us closer to our goals, where with every goal reached we will release an additional weekly series. So if you want to see more content, Patreon is the place to go.